And if these new reports bear fruit that ISIS is claiming responsibility for this, allegations that this man converted to Islam months ago, that could dramatically change the tone of what the president is about to say. I mean, clearly when you have a mass shooter like we saw last night, early this morning in Las Vegas, it prompts one kind of reaction. But if there is a nexus to terrorism on this, and the initial reports were that there wasn't, that will definitely change the tone coming from the president.
This is 8 News Now at 11.
A federal judge has unsealed more than 300 pages of search warrants related to the mass shooting in October. Thanks for joining us for tonight. I'm Denise Valdez.
And I'm Brian Loftus. The document shed a new light on how Paddock prepared for the aftermath of the attack and to what extent he planned it. We do have Shakayla Alvarenga live in studio to explain it all.
Well, Brian and Denise, among what we found out tonight, 3 cell phones belonging to Paddock were found in his Mandalay Bay hotel room, 2 that investigators searched and 1 that they couldn't unlock. An FBI agent said he believed if there were any information related to a potential conspiracy, it would be found within that locked phone. Right now, we still don't know if police have been able to unlock it. Tonight, we're learning more about what federal agents found days after the 1 October shooting. In his hotel room, there were hundreds of used ammunition, body armor, rangefinders, and a homemade gas mask. According to the documents, Paddock planned the attack meticulously and took many methodical steps to avoid detection of his plot and to thwart the eventual law enforcement investigation that would follow. One of the warrants also described how Paddock tried to hide digital media devices. Paddock apparently spent, quote, significant time and expense prior to the attack purchasing and caching weapons. During the 12 months prior, one of the documents says Paddock used the internet to buy guns and ammunition. We're also learning more about his mysterious girlfriend, Mary Lou Danley. Danley told investigators that she occasionally helped Paddock load magazines. The FBI said there was no evidence that Danley knew of Paddock's plans or had been deceptive, but the FBI cautioned at the time that she was still the subject of an intensive review, saying, quote, she has been identified thus far as the most likely person who aided or abetted Stephen Paddock based on her informing law enforcement that her fingerprints would likely be found on the ammunition used during the attack. Oh, there's still one key unanswered question. What motivated Paddock to do what he did? 10 pages were kept under seal pending a hearing in state court on Tuesday morning.
The FBI has released new details about their investigation into the Las Vegas shooting, confirming that suspect Stephen Paddock was a registered arms dealer with ties to the CIA. In a U-turn from the original claim that Paddock was a lone wolf shooter who transported a huge arsenal of guns, ammunition, and supplies to his 32nd floor hotel room at the Mandalay Bay, the FBI are now saying that Paddock was a known arms dealer with ties to U.S. government intelligence agencies. The Free Thought Project, COM reports, while the surveillance footage from Paddock's stay at the hotel has yet to be released, the newly unsealed court documents are finally giving some insight into his conduct in the months leading up to the shooting on October 1. An email exchange from Central Park 1 at Live.com, a Microsoft account FBI agents claimed was used by Paddock, was included in an affidavit reported by NPR. The date was July 6, 2017, about 3 months before the shooting. And while the FBI noted that it is unclear who is behind Central Park 4804 at gmail.com, the email account Paddock was contacting, the information included a significant. Central Park 1 at Live.com sent an email to Central Park 4804 at gmail.com which read, "Try an R before you buy. We have huge selection, located in the Las Vegas area." Later the day, an email was received back from Central Park 4804 at gmail.com to Central Park 1 at Live.com that read, "We have a wide variety of optics and ammunition to try." And lastly, Central Park 1 at Live.com sent an email to Central Park 4804 at gmail.com that read, "For a thrill, try out bum firearms with a 100-round magazine." Investigators believe these communications may have been related to the eventual attack that occurred at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. In the first message, Paddock claimed that the recipient would have the opportunity to try out the weapons before they purchased them. He then wrote, "We have huge selection," indicating that he was not working alone, and he said he was located in the Las Vegas area. While Paddock did live in Mesquite, Nevada, and reports claimed that he was a retired man living with his girlfriend, he made trips to Las Vegas often to gamble, and those who knew him described him as low-key and relaxed, a good guy. His past included jobs with the IRS and the Department of Defense. However, the email exchanges released by the FBI indicate that Paddock was presenting himself as some sort of arms dealer, sending an email that said, "For a thrill, try out bum firearms with a 100-round magazine." The email address Paddock was contacting responded and said, "We have a wide variety of optics and ammunition to try." which, as the report noted, left investigators wondering if Paddock was sending test emails to another account he owned, or if he was contacting another dealer or a customer. Federal agents were granted warrants to search Paddock's Facebook, Instagram, and Amazon accounts, along with a locked phone that was found in a hotel room. These details are the first that have been released from Paddock's online communications, and the documents also include significant details about what the FBI has learned about Paddock's girlfriend. Within hours of the time police named Stephen Paddock as the suspect in the shooting, his girlfriend Mary Lou Danley was also named publicly. Authorities claimed she was visiting family in the Philippines, and they ultimately determined that she was not complicit in the massacre. In addition to reports claiming that Danley told investigators that her fingerprints may be on some of the bullets stored in Paddock's home, and they were. The report from NPR also noted that the timeline of Danley's Facebook account suggests that she knew Paddock was involved in something. After the first reports of gunfire happened at 10:08 p.m. on October 1, Danley's Facebook account was set to private at 12:38 a.m. and then deleted entirely at 2:46 a.m. But it was not until 3:30 a.m. that Paddock's name was publicly released as the suspect in the shooting. There are a number of questions remaining about how the shooting unfolded, and as the Free Thought Project reported last week, MGM Resorts International is now claiming that the hotel staff at Mandalay Bay had at least 10 interactions with Paddock in the days before the shooting. A spokesperson for MGM told the Las Vegas Review-Journal that the interactions on October 1 consisted of a room service delivery and a visit from housekeeping, and even though members of the hotel staff are trained to report any suspicious activity, they did not find any reason to do so when interacting with Paddock. Mandalay Bay staff, room service and housekeeping had contact with Paddock or entered his suite more than 10 times over the course of his stay, including the 3 days leading up to October 1st. There were numerous interactions with Stephen Paddock every day at the resort, including a room service delivery and a call with housekeeping on October 1st, all of which were normal in nature.
Welcome. I'm Scott Binsack, investigative journalist, CEO, and founder of March for America. Thank you for joining me and watching the show. My team and I have put in hundreds of hours, and I'm going on months here on the ground collectively, investigating this atrocious, horrible incident. This is a real incident, not a hoax. That does not make it not a false flag and or an act of terrorism. Each show of these three is going to be very specific to the topics. In this one, we're going to cover the accurate timeline, as well as what is accurate that has been reported or not accurate on the internet by numerous people trying to take advantage of this very sad situation. Everybody wants to be a reporter or an investigative journalist, and it is very sad that people are living in the United States and around the world in this virtual reality of the internet and truly not living it based on facts. The American people deserve the truth. Law enforcement should have been much more transparent in this case, from the FBI to the Las Vegas Sheriff's Department and Police Department. But I do not blame the Sheriff's Department and the Police Department. I blame the FBI. and you will understand why they have not been transparent, and based on new information just dumped the other day from the warrants in this case, one of the reasons why this show did not air on the 14th when planned. They dumped the warrants in this case, and information has changed, leading to clearly see what I originally stated is that Stephen Paddock was running guns and that ISIS is responsible for this. I'm not tying that in tonight in this show. That will be the last show. Every show is going to be specific. This is our Vegas shooting timeline, okay? We will be releasing this along with this when this video goes, the link after all 3 shows are done and put on our website. The breakdown of this is from the fire department scanner video, the New York Times timeline, as well as Broadcastify, as you can see here. Anything in red that you see is the fire department's call with the time, anything in black, and I will get into that. This timeline took hundreds of hours, and it goes on and on and on to exact everything said on the radio, everything that has transpired via that in this case. Taking the time to do this and questioning, I can't, maybe over 100+ people in this matter, from victims to employees to just people in general who work around Las Vegas or are around that night. There is a much different reality here than there is on the internet of what took place that night. To put yourself in these concert goers' position, you must understand first what fight and flight is. Fight and flight will explain a lot of the discrepancies in this case in the first hour of this mass shooting. What is fight and flight?
Fear is so important for our survival, we do something absolutely remarkable. Our bodies begin to react to a threat before we're even consciously aware of what the threat might be. Because when we're faced with danger, milliseconds count. At the first hint of danger, early warning signals are sent to the brain via the optic nerve, to our tiny and primitive fear center, the amygdala. This prepares our body for action. Next, nerve pulses are fired down the spinal cord to the adrenal glands near our kidneys. This triggers a release of adrenaline. Now we're on full alert. Adrenaline is the vital hormone that can flood our body in a split second. As it reaches our lungs, we breathe more deeply and take in more oxygen. It also makes our heart beat faster. Oxygen-rich blood is diverted to our muscles. They are now charged springs, waiting for the signal to run or fight. All this before our conscious mind has even registered a threat. This reaction to fear has evolved over millions of years and is known as the fight or flight response.
Now let us go back to that night in question. Complete and utter chaos. Picture 20,000+ people, and there were 20,000+ people at this concert, and not originally what many thought, that there was much less. There was 20,000+ people at this concert. Complete and utter madness. Put yourself in their shoes, how you would react, and you don't know really how you would react until you're in that situation and being fired upon and hearing all different screams of different information, where to go, what to do, what it is it firecrackers, is it bullets, is it blanks, is it, you name it, has been said that night during the exodus from the shooting. And that's what it is. It was a mass exodus.
Let's go. Get off your legs. I can't. Okay, come on, get up. Get up. You gotta get off your legs. I'm trying to. I'm trying to get up. Get in there, baby. Yes, it is. Gunshot, right? It is. Can I help it, you guys? Why is there blood? Yes, he's shot! Why are you shot where? Get down.
When people sit back and watch these videos on the internet, and that was a grouping of a lot of clips from that night, they sit back and they try and they think that they know how they were going to react if they were in their position, and they are judging these people when in fact they have no idea how they're going to act based on fight and flight. This exodus, some people will laugh during fear, some people will cry, some people will be paralyzed, some people will just follow the rest of the crowd. And in this case, and on this timeline, okay, when the calls started to come in from all over Las Vegas, 911 calls, reports of shootings going on, gunshots, etc. At first, no one really knew, as far as the authorities and other situations, like immediately, where exactly it was coming from. And the timeline of the video calls represents the same. And when you run through these calls, into which I will be, and what took place. This answers lots of questions when it comes to Bellagio, Tropicana, Hooters, New York, New York. There was mass exodus of people, of which even police officers reporting on the radio scanner directed them, a large group, to Hooters, where there was a triage center set up, okay, to treat victims. There was triage center set up in front of Tropicana as well to treat victims. People were running in mass exodus, and some paralyzed, some not, deceased already laying on the ground in blood and loved ones holding over them. You cannot put yourself in their situation, and you really do not know how you would act. But this key fact will explain lots of these calls and these incidents that we have down here, shown timeline by hotel and location. Mandalay Bay, Luxor, New York, New York, Tropicana, Bellagio, Paris, Aria, Bally's, Planet Hollywood, Harrods, Convention Center, McCarran Airport, Circus, Hilton Grand Vacation Club, Route 91 Harvest Festival Fairgrounds, Excalibur, Caesar's Palace, Alibaba, Motel 6, Hooters, Delano, Mirage, Monte Carlo, Trutch, T-Mobile Arena, and MGM Grand. Every one of these places had some type of reports going on, not just at the time of the shooting, but thereafter. Several of them with calls coming in of people saying that they were being shot at or gunshots heard and all. I want to first start to clear up, as I started in the front of this video with the intro. This incident has nothing to do with the Saudi prince. Not the Saudis, but the Saudi prince. From the beginning, I have tried to explain that there was a great nexus between 9/11 and this shooting, and thus that of our CIA, Israel's Mossad, and the Saudis, who were behind 9/11. False flag. Evidence is evidence. In this case, by the time we reach the end series, end show, you will see the proof of who is behind this and why, and it's already breaking before the fact because the FBI is in a tither at this moment on how to explain what happened in Paddock's ties with guns at all. Let's address the Bellagio, where there was alleged shooting and people shot at the glass, terrorists shot at the glass, and people were running rampant. Now again, remember what I just told you. This was a mass exodus, even for up to 1.5 miles away. Okay? Some people didn't even reach their spots up until an hour and change away of the hotels they were staying at. Over 20,000 people here staying at multiple locations in Las Vegas from a panic. Their cars aren't there. They traveled by most of them by public transportation or walked from their areas. So let's talk about Bellagio, one of the main ones that was running around, that there was an alleged shooter there. There were no shooters at any hotels. Not one. Not one. But there was tons of crazed people at all these hotels and panicking and doors being flown in and pushed in and people running and hiding, and even that of, as you'll see on the police scanner, that of a man who tried to hijack a police car. He was in such fear. He didn't want to rob the car, meaning wasn't robbing the police car, trying to break into a police car because he was trying to steal something from the police or he had done something wrong, but he was in a fight and flight panic. People were up on the roofs and the buildings inside the arena, those little black men that you see there, and there were also police who started to get to high ground as well, per the scanner. There were no shadowy men shooting from the roof in this concert. Sorry to tell you. The Bellagio. Here in video 1, we have a key witness at the Bellagio and where this shooting theory started and report came from.
And Daniel contacted me, and until the security came back over and started screaming, "Everybody get to the back," and then we were rushed to the back corridors where Daniel and I were able to maneuver around from the 32nd floor of the Bellagio Hotel to where our hotel room is that was in the other tower. So we were able to maneuver around, but again, this is the hotel on lockdown because it's all shattered with glass up in front, and everybody was pushed to the back. So if anybody has any questions or wondering what the news is reporting, this is live. I don't know how I could get any more. Okay. That's fine and dandy till we get old. So
It is clear that her name is Renee, that she is in a fight and flight mode, believing when this mass exodus of people came through the doors that there were shootings going on at the Bellagio. We switched to an interview with her a little while thereafter, some time after she calmed down and got home and things, and then here is
somehow we made it. We made
that
it. So
interview.
what I really want is what I'm interested in is just what happened that night, a timeline. Yeah. I'm just gonna let you talk, and then I'll interject occasionally with questions. But go ahead, tell us what happened.
Absolutely. So my husband and I were just driving back from Palm Springs. We had been there for a few days, and we stayed at the Bellagio numerous times, and we thought, okay, let's just go to the Bellagio. We know where to eat. We like it. We thought we'd still have time at the pool, that kind of thing. Friends of ours were at, I got to take this out while that way I don't hear myself echo.
No, it's fine. That's fine.
Okay. So friends of ours were at the festival, and she was like, hey, you're here. And I said, yeah. They invited us to come over because they actually had left the festival to go and shower, and they were going to go back again. And I said, no, we're going to go have dinner with my husband's family. So we were going to meet out afterwards because they were going to go downtown and go ziplining. And so we said, okay, well, we'll get back here around 9:30 or 10. And they said that was perfect because they thought they'd be over to the Bellagio around 10:30. Mm-hmm. And probably right around 10:30. So we said, okay. So we did. We got back there about 9:30, 9:45. And my husband and I love the Petrosian Lounge with the piano bar and everything. We know a couple of the piano players there. And we walked right in, sat right down, started talking with the cocktail waitress. She had worked there for like 13 years. So we're sitting there talking. And I was texting my friend who was at the festival, who I'd been chatting with all day long. And she wasn't answering. So I'm thinking, well, maybe it's just loud and she'll look at her phone. So we're sitting there, like 10:30, 10:45. And I'm like, well, this isn't normal because normally she's known me for years and years. She's not like a flake, I guess you could say. So about 11 o'clock, I told Daniel, I'm like, well, I know that they're going ziplining downtown and I know they had already gotten their tickets. So let's just get a drink and then because we were just sitting there. We didn't know if they were going to come walking in and we were just all going to leave. So,
and this was 11 o'clock p.m.
At 11 o'clock. So, because I was just drinking water prior to that. We hadn't drank. And like I said, we were with his family and everything and the kids. So we went to order a drink. And then all of a sudden, this huge crowd, I can't even explain it. Just a stampede came rushing through the doors. The block things that you stand at the front, the red ropes, were all people weren't running around them. They were running over them. And we heard the gunfire. And the best that I can describe it, Tracy, is the fact that
at this time, as I'm saying, mass exodus, people reaching their hotels in panic, not just concert goers, but people who were also in the street. They flood in there. They were knocking things over in there. I know for a fact, as I have stated in other shows, we have key sources in there, including one of our board members here at MFA's mother is in security there at the Bellagio, and we have confirmed this. Renee's own testimony here, and I'm going to let her finish, also confirms it. She said she heard a pop, 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 and then like a loud thud, bang, like a board hitting them. It was reported that there was a major table overturned at the Bellagio as well, and it was a gaming table with chips that flew everywhere, okay? You know what chips sound like flying all over the floor? There was no shooting at the Bellagio. Not one employee, not one witness, and even when you carefully listen through the rest of this video of her testimony, there was no shooting there, nor anywhere else, but into that concert venue.
it was like if you take a board and you drop it on the floor, and it was like just this like that, and it was automatic. And I didn't know what kind of gunfire until my husband told me afterwards. Mm-hmm. And because I've never heard anything like that, and all I thought was, dear Lord, what? My husband literally takes me and puts me down underneath the table, which I showed in the video. This other lady was laying head to head with me, and she's crying, and she I guess had jumped over the cement pillars, and she's crying. I don't know where my son is, and I was like, that's okay. I said, just hold on, he'll be okay, he'll be okay. And I just started praying, and I was like, Lord, just please cover us, cover my husband, covering us. I didn't even know what to do. I just wanted her to hear that we were still talking. And then all of a sudden, it just got quiet. I felt my husband kind of lift up off of me a little bit. And people kind of looked up. Then all of a sudden, security came in and they're like, go, everybody back. And we got up and everybody ran into the bar because we were sitting right out in front where the piano is. Everybody ran in, and then there was a long hallway I never even knew was there. And my husband stayed out there making sure that everybody was getting back safely. I lost my husband, and I'm yelling, where's my husband? Where's my husband? He's making sure that everybody's getting through because he's a retired Marine, and that's just what they do. Yeah. And so he was able to catch up with me in the back corridor. I didn't know where I was. And people, once we got back there, kind of started scattering because all we knew is we wanted to.
Okay. Again, mass exodus, chaos, no shooters in the Bellagio. Now I want to bring you to something that was a serious fake news story. That allegedly 17 dead bodies or tons of dead bodies were being hauled out of Hooters. Originally reported by Laura Loomer and then Alex Jones. And I want to play this video for you, okay? Because it is outright, and I'm going to turn it on so I can shut it on and off so we can all hear it together, on how this has totally been exaggerated. There was not one dead body at Hooters. Tons of victims running in there who were staying there. I've interviewed several. Karen was one. Jason Buff, which I will show you. Jason Buff, excuse me, a great man. He worked at the Tropicana in security, and he was the man who was called in and was happened to be escorted from the back bungalow with another security official from Tropicana, as I proved in the beginning of this with his text messages to us. And he further went on respectfully to text us more information having to do with Hooters, which backed up everyone I have interviewed for Hooters. But we need to go to this Alex Jones story.
Now, let's go ahead and plow directly into the news and information on a more modern cover-up than just JFK, that now 91% of Americans last year at the last anniversary, the 52nd anniversary or 53rd anniversary, was it 53 or 54 years since 1963? We have the cover-up of Vegas going back on October 1st, now 22 days ago. It was a Sunday broadcast. I said Antifa and BLM and any means necessary say they're getting ready to get violent. They're getting ready to attack starting October 1st, not November 4th. November 4th, the Democrats and others officially say they're going to get violent in the streets of America in all 50 capitals and other major cities. We're going to have our limited crew in places like New York, Los Angeles, and right here in Austin, Texas. And I've even have some great military guys that are still active duty that are going to be, well, let's just say those kind of guys are never on duty or off duty, that are volunteering to go cover some of this for us as well. So we're going to have a lot of eyes and ears on this as they attempt to launch a second communist revolution on the 100-year anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution. And they admit that's their plan. We'll see if it's a dud and fizzles. Looks like it may be because there's such a huge awakening, but we shouldn't be too confident. So here's the new big Vegas bombshell. It's up on Infowars.com from IntelHub.com. I want to get Shepard Ambulus, investigative journalist, on. He is an amazing researcher. I really should just hire Shepard. He's been wanting to get on board for years. I just haven't had the budget. But we got to find a way to get this guy on board because he just keeps being at the center of so many big stories. Vegas bombshell video shows 17 ambulances pulling bodies out of Hooters. And we've blown up the video. It's shot in HD. And bigger than Dallas, bigger than Vegas, they are pulling dozens and dozens of bodies out. And there's a time-lapse video. There's an unedited video. that's like 45 minutes long up on Infowars.com. There's a condensed video that was put together by High Impact Flicks, that does a great job, of the YouTuber Benjamin Franks, who we're going to get on as a witness this week if we can, who put up the whole video. He just shot this out of his hotel window, out of the MGM, about 200 yards away. And they're not triaging and directing bodies over. You've got big exits hundreds of yards away from the venue, and you see police taking bodies out of there. It looks like the Hooters is shot up. And you've got not just Mandalay, but you've got other places on the Vegas Strip that are upwards of a mile away reporting shots fired and broken glass and bullets on the ground. And we've already covered all that. We've already shot in-depth reports on it. We had federal law enforcement tell us the morning after that Alex, it's Antifa/ISIS paraphernalia. He was traveling the Middle East with his girlfriend. All this is going on. There's a cover-up. There's more than one shooter. And then notice all that came out. They changed the timeline, and it turned out he shot earlier down the hall, like we said, and there were witnesses saying, you better get out of here. You're going to die in 45 minutes. We don't know exactly what happened, and neither do our law enforcement sources. It's so compartmentalized. But there were other shooters who were shot, ladies and gentlemen. And again, we've already broken all that down. And there were reports of people being shooting from the directions of Hooters. And there may have been somebody in there shooting people who got killed by cops. We know police at multiple locations, people saw them shoot masked men and broken glass and shell casings. And we've already had the witnesses on. We've reported it. I mean, the videos are legion. So all I know is we're being lied to. And we know the FBI got hundreds of cell phones. In fact, tried to confiscate them from everybody that exited. Hundreds and hundreds of cell phones. And are asking other people not to upload it. We've had witnesses that were going to organize groups to go public dropping dead. So I'm not saying the FBI itself's bad, but the guy running the Vegas operation, I've had high-level SEAL Team 6, high-level federal marshals, high-level FBI say that guy is a Clinton/Obama operative, and now it's come out. So you should be right under Phil Mudd at the FBI, who says they're going to kill the president. So some dangerous hombres, I'll tell you right now.
Now, pay attention. Complete madness, complete lies, complete propaganda. And I'll say this. I thought that there was even one body died at Hooters, one person died at Hooters, and that there was one body removed. And I was wrong after several more interviews, and now just recently confirmed by Jason Buff. This is a message to us from Mr. Buff just 48 hours ago. And I'm going to read it to you because it's in small font on there, and everyone can get it exactly what it says. Never an active shooter on our property, i.e. the Tropicana, although there was numerous active shooting calls in people in their panic, and that is what's caused a lot of the confusion. There was never a dead body in our parking lot. There was also no one dead anywhere near Hooters, as the dead bodies were outside on the grass on Reno near Desert Rose Apartments. That is correct. The 3 bodies lay at rest there for about 14 hours after the shooting. This is true. That's a story in itself. 14 hours laid there. So our investigator went on to ask him, so I have a witness and the police scanner that said a woman was shot in the head in front of Tropicana. Is this not true? Correct, and that was absurdly proven false. There was a woman who was walking with shrapnel who stopped in front of the bus stop on Tropicana, was never shot there. Thinking, the investigators, Mike David says, shrapnel. Thinking a bullet or something lodged. She was walking, bleeding. That's where the false reports of active shooters at the Tropicana started. Once again, in hysteria. And that goes back to my original witness, one of my original witnesses, Kevin, who stayed at the Tropicana, gave us a video from the inside and said he saw a woman in front of Tropicana get shot in the head. What Kevin really saw was this woman walking up, their friend, bleeding from the head, and gunshots going off. So at that time, you would think that, the woman was shot then, and she was not. This is the truth. People don't like the truth, but this is the truth. No one was shot anywhere else other than this concert arena. There was no active shooters at Tropicana. There's no shot. All of this at Hooters from a video from MGM of a guy outside the window seeing 17 ambulances line up. If you look at the timeline, okay, on the police scanner calls, and I will go to our main one from Broadcastify. Here, 11:14, multiple calls of active shooters at multiple locations may or not be diversions, make officers aware. All of these, after the fact, this is at 11:14 p.m. All these calls that are coming in are from people just panicking and believing they're in this state and that there's more shooters and more things going on. There was no other shooters. Same thing up here at 11:08. This is after the shooting. Active shooter from New York, going down escalator to Excalibur. I'm going to follow up with that on a later show. All officers are stepping on SWAT. They should be aware of their own channel. It goes through and through in all of this. Now, I want to get into Hooters. Right here. 10:57 p.m. 10:55. They're clearing the Delano Casino. They went around from every casino cleaning and hotels cleaning floor by floor by floor by floor by floor, room by room by room. 10:57 p.m. We have at least 6 additional patients inside of Hooters for a total of 12, 1 deceased. That's where I got my 1 deceased, and that was from the Las Vegas Fire Department scanner here in red. Now, Jason says there was not 1 deceased there, that they were laid outside. The information with the fire department, the deceased was actually outside, okay, not inside. So inside of Hooters, no one actually died. This was outside. So for a total of patients, 12 inside and 1 deceased. If there's a correction here, 1 inside dead or 1 dead outside, regardless. There was no 17, the 17 ambulances were not there to drag out tons and tons of bodies, as Alex Jones said, and there were no masked men being shot at any other hotels. Okay? This coming from a man raging around saying that the president is going to be assassinated. Okay? Ridiculous. So the fire department, this is what they called in exactly. We have at least 6 additional patients inside Hooters for a total of 12, 1 deceased. Hallway outside, 135 is contained. Okay. My point being, here, West has 3 GSWs in front of Hooters, send 2 to 3 rescues. We have people and off-duty officers that are bringing patients in their personal vehicles. Where? To Hooters. Because outside of Hooters was a triage center set up, as it's showing from the exact timeline from the Las Vegas Fire Department and even the police department when you look further. There is not some big conspiracy here just from a video of alleged 17 ambulances. Yes, there was ambulance light up there. That's where they were told to go, to collect the injured. The police were directing the injured to Hooters and to the trauma center in front of Hooters and MGM, as well as on Tropicana. And I'm going to run through this. Here, 11:14 p.m., even multiple calls of active shooters at multiple locations. As I read before, there was no active shooters anywhere at 11:14 p.m. Same thing. Compilation of videos we have here from the Tropicana Las Vegas Boulevard intersection at 400. The officers tell everybody to get their hands up and get out, clearing the front of Tropicana. That's at 11:14. Ambulance at Tropicana. Do they need force protection with all the 415As? 415As, if you look at the top of this from our scanner, our 415A is a code, okay, up here. 415A, assault and battery with a gun. Or 413, a person with a gun. Gunshot is 434. .445 is an explosive device. There was no car bomb in front of the Luxor. Okay? Not at all, with wires hanging out as reported. So now, at 10:25, officers sending concert goers to Hooters. Alex Jones reporting on Hooters conspiracy. Original report by Shepard from IntelliHub. It is a fake story. Yes, there was 17 ambulances there. They were not dragging out tons of dead bodies and trying to hide anything from anyone. Their scanners prove the same. Witnesses prove the same. Okay? No shots were ever reported at Hooters. Force Pro was assisting with triage late in the evening, which is why you see all the Mandalay ambulances there. See 12:33 p.m. and 1:03 p.m. 10:26, Mandalay security reporting shots from floors 29 and 32. They have no idea where the shots are even coming from at that time, on what exact floor. Okay, these are several different officers and several different calls coming in. It was complete madness, even with officials. The bottom line of this timeline and the bottom line of this is it was no other shooters at any other hotel locations at all. Fact. There were no 17 ambulances dragging out tons and tons or dozens and dozens of dead bodies. There was no prince being evacuated off the roof of Mandalay Bay Hotel. The prince was not even in Las Vegas. There was chaos even amongst law enforcement officials and SWAT and Force Pro. And Force Pro, just so you know, is the medical unit of the Las Vegas Police Department trained to handle acute emergencies and triage. Now, before I go through the timeline, I want to play the New York Times timeline. The reporter is a very good investigative reporter, and everybody's getting credit in our shows for who we're using. But I'm playing this timeline, and then I want to show you and where it ends, and where he ends it at, and the information he ends it at, because it's very key to our next show of the truth about Paddock, Campos, and the ballistics. As well as then I'm going to show you and read through quickly the official timeline of this and what events took place. You will be able to examine this sheet as well.
His targeting of police and the lulls in his shooting that allowed concert goers a chance to flee.
Like, why are there people laying on the ground? Why are there people laying on the ground?
It's 10 p.m. and more than 20,000 people are watching country singer Jason Aldean at the Route 91 Harvest Festival. Across the street, the gunman Stephen Paddock is in a corner suite on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Hotel. He planned his attack meticulously. He had assembled an arsenal, bolted an exit door shut, installed surveillance cameras in the hallway, and calculated his elevation and distance from the crowd. A few minutes into the show, Paddock fires what appear to be single rounds from his hotel room. Video timestamps reveal that this happened after 10:05. Why doesn't Paddock fire more rounds at first? There are at least two theories. He's checking that the range and trajectory of his gunshots match the calculations he made, or he's firing at fuel tanks in the nearby airport. Whatever the reason, an uneasiness fills the crowd and people move toward the exit. 30 seconds later, we hear what sounds like automatic gunfire. It's the first of 12 bursts Paddock fired at the festival. More people begin to leave at the rear, and lights are turned on. Around the time of this first burst, security officer Jesus Campos is looking into a separate incident when he happens to come across the door Paddock had sealed shut. Paddock appears to be alerted to Campos as he is leaving, and fires through the hotel door, wounding Campos in the leg. Campos takes cover in a doorway and calls in the shooting on his radio. the police and armed security officers begin to respond from within the hotel. 36 seconds after the first burst, Paddock fires a second one into the crowd.
I'm so fucking scared.
The cracking sound you hear are bullets passing nearby. The intensity suggests Paddock was aiming very near this area by the front of stage, the densest part of the crowd. There is a short interval here of 17 seconds. People begin to flee again. But then a third burst of fire opens up. The changing pitch of the crack suggests Paddock is spraying the bullets around the area. A fourth burst hits the crowd just 20 seconds later. By our count, Paddock has now fired over 300 rounds in less than 2 minutes. The scenes that unfold at this point are distressing. There are multiple injuries stage left, and people begin to treat the wounded around them. At this point, there's a break in the shooting of almost 1 minute and 50 seconds. We don't know what Paddock is doing during this interval. It's possible he fired down the hallway again. We have reporting that by now, Campos has been joined by hotel engineer Stephen Shook, who reports gunfire on his hotel radio.
It's at the end of the hallway. I can't tell you what room. He looked like he fired down the hallway when I got close to the door.
Whatever the reason, this break in the shooting allowed many people to move to safety. At 10:08, a police car arrives along Las Vegas Boulevard. A minute later, police officers are moving along a wall in the direction of Mandalay Bay to get eyes on the shooter. They direct fleeing concertgoers back into the venue and away from gunfire.
Hey, you guys! Get down! Go that way! Get out of here! There's gunshots coming from over there!
Then Paddock fires a fifth burst. It's around 22 bullets in 3 short volleys.
There's gunshots right here!
We hear this same burst from a different angle, at the Mandalay, where cab driver Corey Langdon was filming. Here's what it sounds like up close. Our reporting suggests that Paddock was positioned directly above the camera at this point. Then, just 40 seconds later, you can hear very dull and hollow gunfire.
Now it sounds like it's coming from farther away.
These rounds were not picked up by cameras recording in the festival at this time. That, plus our additional analysis, suggests this is Paddock firing indoors again, possibly toward Campos and Shook, who are still in the hallway. This lull in shooting outside lasted just over a minute and allowed more people to flee. But then, a sixth burst of fire. "20 seconds later, in a seventh burst, Paddock appears to take aim at the police.
Go that way. Hey, they're shooting right at us, guys. Everybody stay down.
Just 20 feet away, more police are taking cover behind a patrol car. They take direct fire and call it in over the radio.
Mandalay Bay northbound, right outside Route 91 at the south end.
It's now been over 6 minutes since the shooting began, and the area at stage right is mostly empty. But people are still taking cover at stage left when Paddock fires an eighth burst.
Should we get up? Should we get up?
Get down. Get down, man. Mike.
How do we get up?
Meanwhile, at the Mandalay, Paddock fires a ninth burst of fire right over a line of cabs and into the crowd. Taxi driver Corey Langdon still sees no signs of panic.
Where are the cops at? I'm right here by the porch at Mandalay Bay, and everything just seems to be normal here.
and hotel guests are still by the lobby.
You guys, there's a shots fired.
But actually, police were there. Up in the hotel, 2 officers are closing in on the gunman.
I'm inside the Mandalay Bay on the 31st floor. I can hear the automatic fire coming from one floor ahead, one floor above us.
And even as police are responding both inside and outside the hotel, Paddock unleashes his 10th burst of fire. More police cars approach along Las Vegas Boulevard.
Control, we need all units coming northbound on Las Vegas Boulevard because he's shooting this way. It's a horrible cover fire.
Further along, people are fleeing through the rear between bursts.
Keep your head down, run this way.
Nearly 1 minute and 10 seconds pass before his 11th assault. By now, Paddock is no longer firing in long, steady bursts.
Keep your head down, run that way.
We don't know why, but he may be struggling with a sluggish weapon or using a different gun. He fires his 12th and final burst as Corey Langdon leaves the Mandalay. It's less than 50 rounds. The rate of fire slows, and at 5 seconds it's the shortest of his bursts.
All the taxi drivers are gone now.
It's 10:17 and concertgoers are still fleeing at the far side of the venue.
Is there somebody out there?
Yes,
you know what's happening. All right. Go. Okay.
12 minutes after the first bullet was fired, police close in on the gunman on the 32nd floor.
Control 590K, I have a team of 4. We're going to make entry to the shark. We make a contact to the suspect. See if we can get up to 169. We're doing that right now. 32nd floor. Copy. We're going to make our way to give you support.
By now, Paddock is no longer firing on the crowd, and police continue to move closer to his room.
12-2, I'm in the stairwell on the 32nd floor.
They evacuate guests.
Control 159, we're doing evacuations as we're working our way down the hallway. We're about 1:30 minutes in on the suspect's door. I need everybody in that hallway to be aware of it and get back. We need to pop this and see if we get any type of response from this guy to see if he's in here or if he's actually moved out somewhere else. Breach. We are clearing this room. We have one suspect.
The police find 23 guns and hundreds of rounds of ammunition inside Paddock's suite. By our count, he fired close to 900 rounds at the festival. The police say he fired another 200 into the hallway. Paddock was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot. The 64-year-old killed at least 58 people, and over 500 were wounded. It was one of the deadliest shootings in modern American history.
Now, in the following show, I will be getting into exactly what took place on the 32nd floor. And I have information that others do not. And we're going to get into now, I want to remind everybody that this is critical because now, after reviewing this and looking at our timeline from the calls in at exactly the time that the New York Times is doing in their timeline, he is correct with what has come across the scanner and putting the pieces together. However, he does not know at that time, nor does anyone, if there's multiple people up there who have helped Paddock or not, or if it is really Paddock shooting or someone else. You will see in the upcoming show evidence that I have stated, and I've come out with the breaking exclusive, that ISIS was responsible for this shooting. We will go into grave detail about who Stephen Paddock was, who Mary Lou Danley is, and what they exactly were going on. But the key to this show now is to get the timeline accurate so we can get to that point. Because if people keep believing the false narratives and the propaganda from the timeline, you are not going to believe what's coming next. And what's coming next is huge, as is the ending. So I want to address one other issue before I get into the timeline, which is on the timeline on the screen that I have right now, right in front of me. And it has to do with, at 10:32, multiple reports from McCarran Tower Airport of multiple running people across active runways. 300 plus concert goers broke through the fence at the airport fleeing the shooting. This is key. Okay? This is key. The McCarran fence breach is key because if you listen to the video, the air traffic controller states that he believes that there was active shooters on the runway, and he had no idea that it was just concert goers because he was told that there was active shooters, meaning being reported. People were reporting active shooters everywhere from hearing gunshots and panic. There were no shooters on the runway. No one was trying to escape with the prince, okay, or the above. And there was no SWAT chasing any gunmen onto the runway. There were 300 plus concert goers at the run that breached the fence. Okay, and I have interviewed several of them. One of them was from Bosnia, originally from Bosnia. She was a waitress that night and serving alcohol to concert goers. She's the one that said, and she's very much awake about war from Bosnia and growing up in Bosnia. She knows what war is. She knows what the sounds of whizzing bullets are. She knows the sounds of gunfire. She and those 300 plus, after hearing the shot, she first hid underneath where she was serving in the concession area. And then from there, they went and she ran with everybody else. And she said that she felt like the bullets were chasing her. Okay. So from there, they breached the McCarran fence and went onto the airport strip. She also described how they were hiding in the embankment, many people hiding in the embankment that goes down to the airport as well. So there were no shooters on the runway, and it was not that the air traffic controller was trying he just did not know that it was just concert goers. There was no shooters there at all. There were no shooters on the runway. There were nobody at the Bellagio. There was nobody at the Tropicana. There was nobody at Paris. There was nobody at the Hard Rock. There was nobody at New York, New York. None. When the shooting stopped at the concert, there were no more shots fired. Not one. Now, if we go into the timeline, and I'm going to go to the top, the broadcastifier scanner, video 1, credits Eric M. A lot of people have probably listened to this. Well, this is broken down and then followed up with and interviewed to corroborate or not corroborate what is here. 10:05, first shots fired. 10:06, fire department. Listen to the first minute. Responders are seeing a large crowd and running from music festival and hearing gunfire, asking dispatch if they have anything. Negative response. 10:06. Second call to dispatch asking to get units started this way. That is a large crowd with gunfire coming from the concert on the boulevard. The fire department at 10:06 just started to get the calls and they headed towards the scene. 10:08, code 42, code red. Shots fired at Route 91 Harvest Festival sounded like an automatic weapon. Shots are coming from about halfway up, 3 months into shots being fired. The first shots were actually at 10:05 and then 10:07, which went into 10:08, which proved from cell phone time on a woman's cell phone, a girl's cell phone running from the scene. 10:09. Multiple 415A, i.e. multiple assault weapons. 10:09, 105 actor shooter in fairgrounds. The reason why they believe there was an actor shooter, these are several different officers talking back and forth on the radio because they're getting reports from people there thinking that there's shooters on the fairgrounds when in fact they're not. These people are in what? Fight and flight and panic mode. As I said, some said it was blanks. Definitely not blanks. Some said it was, firecrackers. Some said it was this. There were multiple reports coming in of shooters all over from the concert area, you name it. In complete panic. 10:09. 10:09. Convention Center 911. Person with a gun. This was later found out there was no person with a gun at Convention Center at 911. 10:09. Las Vegas Fire Department. Official call from dispatch goes out calling it a Delta GSW. 2:27, we're going to need a full medical arm going out and MCI units, i.e. multiple casualty incident is what MCI stands for. 10:10, 4:15, people down, stage left. This is where the first people got shot on the left front of the stage. 10:11, shots from an elevated position, multiple casualties, gate 7, shots coming from Mandalay Bay or Luxor. Please shut down the boulevard. Okay. Again, gate 7, there was no security guard shooting at anybody. People were dead laying there by gate 7. Witnesses have confirmed the same to me as this stated. They were not shot at gates. They were not shot by someone on the ground in the fairgrounds at gate 7. They were shot by the other gunmen from an elevated position. Nothing from inside the fairgrounds. And there's links here you can see to the videos and everything in blue, the bus stop even, everything. And these are original videos. 10:11, 5:30. All personnel, this is Las Vegas, we have multiple metro units moving that way. Still at 10:11, people, fire department, ambulance, still coming. We don't know what we've got just yet, so just be very careful making your way on this. One right here is clear. 10:11, authorities do not even know what the hell is going on and where all the shots are coming from or not coming from, and you have mass chaos, not just by the people in the fairground, by the concert goers, but by even the authorities. 10:12, Mandalay Bay shots. 10:12, fire department again. We are right next to the concert when it started happening. Sounded like full auto fire. 10:13, shots are coming from 50 or 60th floor of North Mandalay Bay window. Flashes from middle of Mandalay Bay. That's the taxi driver, cab driver video that I even analyzed and believed it to be muzzle flash. There's no 50 or 60th floor, meaning part of Mandalay Bay. That is part of the Four Seasons. There was no shots coming from the Four Seasons, can confirm. They did not know, again, at 10:13, the authorities still, several of them did not know where the shots were coming from. They're just carrying out reports. 10:13, officer shot. 10:14, officer on 31st floor Mandalay Bay can hear shots 1 floor up. Full automatic fire from elevated position. I will get into this in video 2 of exactly what went on, and that's what video show 2 is about, who was Paddock, and what exactly took place at the Mandalay Bay that night. That's why it's highlighted here. 10:15, north on the strip shooting this way, be advised. Final shots. These are not the same officer, by the way. These are several different officers on the chatter on the radio. 10:17, 9:05, stop calling out victim injuries. We need to find the shooter. They still haven't found the shooter at 10:17. Shots coming from the 15th floor of Mandalay Bay. Again, wrong floor. They have no idea where they're really coming from, which is okay. It's normal. They're in a situation, it's just started, it's a few X amount of minutes into it. They don't really know what's going on, and people are calling in all over the place, from panicked individuals also calling into 911 and then feeding back. 10:18, shut elevators down and block stairs, Mandalay Bay request. Brian Hodges, we know Brian Hodges, who I went to as alleged witness, would have already had to have been downstairs from where he claimed that he was upstairs, came up upon the shooting going on, and ran back downstairs the elevator, went out the front door and hid in the bushes for 3 hours. This is a complete lie. Brian Hodges never hid in the bushes for 3 hours. All calls have already been sent to SWAT, 10:18. 10:18. Fire department, all personnel we are getting with Metro now in front of Excalibur, because they turned the front of Excalibur into an area of gathering as well for authorities. Get MacTac gear out and be ready to move. 10:19, 11:30. Strike team heading upstairs to 32nd floor Mandalay Bay. 10:19, fire department. All personnel Metro reporting shots fired from Mandalay Bay. We cannot go in front of Mandalay Bay. We have to go around it. That's why you saw fire trucks going around Mandalay Bay. 10:20. En route to UMC with officer shot in right shoulder. And he was shot right on the corner there of the concert venue and Mandalay Bay across the street. 10:20, they raided a police shut down I-15. Smart idea. 10:21, east side of Mandalay Bay. Shots. East side. 10:22, very key. No flash is seen from Mandalay Bay, but if there are shots coming, there's a strobe coming from an east side window. Okay? We know what that is. That is this reflections coming off this great gold mirrored glass building. I will get into what muzzle flash from the 32nd floor in this next show. Okay? And it was very key about what happens with this muzzle flash and about the shots that came from the 32nd floor or did not come from the 32nd floor. Leaving it at that. 10:22, update request. Reports of automatic gunfire at the Route 91 concert across from Luxor. We can't approach it yet. Also reports of someone shooting from Mandalay Bay. Cannot approach because we are not sure what's going on yet. Equipment stage at Trop Boulevard and Russell Boulevard. Avoid Mandalay Bay Boulevard. 10:23, citizens saying possible 3 shooters. Citizens. Panic. Mass chaos. Shots going off. People thinking bullets coming from all directions. Fight and flight. Fight and flight explains lots of the miscommunication and false reports and chaos that took place during this incident. 10:23, citizens saying 3 shooters, 10:23 again, command post set up where? At Tropicana and the Boulevard. This is why there's so much traffic at the Tropicana throughout the night, as Kevin even confirmed, my prior witness, and several others. 10:24, strike team reaches 32nd floor. The room is 135. First mention of room number Mandalay Bay is at 10:24. It takes 54 minutes from this point to breach the door to Paddock's room. 54 minutes. I will get into why they are saying and stating it takes 54 minutes to get in Paddock's room. As I said, the next entire show is all about Paddock and Mandalay Bay and what took place in that building and on that floor. Clarify room 35, dispatch. Officer sending concert goers to Hooters at 10:25. Alex Jones reporting on Hooters conspiracy. Original report by Shepard from IntelliHub. I just blew that out of the water. Totally false and totally exaggerated and completely fake. Note, no shots were ever reported at Hooters. Force Pro was assisting the triage late in the evening, which is why you see all the Mandalay Bay, all that at Mandalay Bay ambulances there. 10:26, Mandalay Bay security reporting shots from 29 and 32nd floors at 10:26. Now remember, officers are going up the floors inside Mandalay Bay and hearing shots going off inside the building. 10:26, officers making way down 32nd floor find security guard by elevator shot in leg. Jesus Campos found by elevator. Shook says he found him in the hallway by one of the rooms. Now please remember, when I get into the second show, I will show you the Mandalay hallway looks like it goes straight. And it does go straight, but the rooms jut off. They jut. Okay? They box out, and there's enough place for someone to sit in there and not get shot at in between each section of these rooms. I've been in Mandalay Bay. I've stayed there. I've been on the 32nd floor just as recent. 10:27. Request to possibly split channels. Because all this madness is going on, and we wondered why they didn't split the channels, which is normal protocol. We're going to need a dedicated one for the team on the 32nd floor. That did not happen until after 11 p.m. 10:28, 19:30. We will need to check 29th floor. It sounds like it's confirmed there are at least 2 shooters with fully automatic weapons. Pay attention, that's why these are bolded and some of them are highlighted here. 10:28, request lights off in venue by officer. So everybody asking about who the lights went off in the venue, it was called out by the Las Vegas PD. Do we want the lights on stage left shut down? I have someone with me, I can shut down the lights on the venue. No response given by command. Get someone into that at 10:28, same time, 1950. Get someone into that camera room and see if we can get cameras watching the 29 and 32nd floor. Footage never released. There are no cameras. I've been in those hallways. There is no cameras in those hallways. Meaning, not the elevator area, down the hallways. In other words, in front of each person's room and things of that nature. 10:29, citizens trying to grab shotgun from patrol cars. People in mass panic Actually, a gentleman tried to reach into a patrol car, break in, and grab a shotgun to protect himself. This is the madness of the chaos going on. It wasn't a gunman. It wasn't masked gunman running around like Alex Jones and others reported. Here we go. Possible for 1030. Possible first force protection request, which I told you first mention of Force Pro. Force Pro is a dedicated trained team for the wounded, for medical triage of that nature. They are trained in that and to deal with serious situations. Force Pro, organized group of paramedic and armed officers, are called force protection teams. People of all stripes, mostly self-reported off-duty servicemen and women, were stepping forward to help this mass casualty incident. There's the proof, abcnews.org, paramedic searches victims inside hotel. All of these things I'm telling you, there are links to for evidence. 1031, officer shot in the neck north of event. This is Casey Clarkson, which there is a story about Casey Clarkson I'm sure you all know. 1032, multiple reports from McCarran Tower of multiple people running across active runways. 300 plus concert goers broke through the fence at the airport fleeing the shooting. Again, only concert goers, no shooters on there. 1033, Las Vegas Fire Department in red. GSWs delivered by airfield operations personnel to station. 1034, black truck left Mandalay Bay towards Delano. We'll get into the black truck in the next show. 1035, clearing the 29th floor of Mandalay Bay. 1035, 2758, team at Convention Center, clearing casino. Nothing happened at the Convention Center, as originally reported. 1036, moving to floor 30. SWAT moving. 1038, SWAT moving to 32nd floor and clearing casino. 1038, Twitter, Las Vegas MPD. We're investigating reports of an active shooter near around Mandalay Bay Casino, asking everyone to please avoid the area. 1039, rifle covering med tent from high ground at fairgrounds. Pay attention. 1039, they had put in place sniper, several of them, okay, i.e. rifle, covering the medical tent from high ground at fairgrounds. That means in the fairgrounds, up above, on one of the roofs in there, they had an officer protecting the medical tent that was right out front there by Tropicana and Luxor and MGM. 1039, have we heard any more shots? Response, not for 10 to 15 minutes. 1040, 32nd floor info, team calls out whispering on radio. 1040, Las Vegas Fire Department. Have we notified hospitals of the MCI, mass casualty incident? Response from dispatch, yes. 1042, lower roof cleared. Clearing upper roof. They're talking about Mandalay Bay. It's been confirmed. 1042, 32nd floor clearing west wing. 1043, Motel 6, older white male in fatigues with black bag entering RV. People say he came from the event area. More of this noted at 3930. We will get into this in the next show, which has to go into, like I said, Paddock, Campos, gunman, and ballistics. 1045, civilians took patrol car. In panic, civilians grabbed a patrol car and took off. 1045, moving to the 31st floor. 1045, officer being overtaken by civilians at gate 5 trying to take patrol cars. This is the kind of madness that is going on and people fleeing and panicking and in that fight and flight. 1047, northernmost room on 32nd floor, we believe. Still not they still don't know exactly. 1047, patrol is going to put out a shotgun facing RV with believed suspect. And that's the one I'm going to get into in the next show with the man with the fatigues with the black bag. Okay? They already put a man facing that at this time. Pushing out crowd for main stage, 1048. So at 1048, the main crowd is still. And he's reporting pushing out crowd for main stage, 22 plus 441 dead bodies. Okay? 1048, confirmed casualties at Alibaba and Giles and inside Mandalay Bay. Get into this shortly. Maintenance guy needs to help with elevators. Needs keys to let strike team up at 10:49. Stephen Schuck interview. He took the keys from the supervisor to shut down the elevators. This has been confirmed. 10:49. Need to know if we have 32nd floor evacuated. Negative on evacuation. Snipers, pay attention, at 10:49. SWAT snipers are headed to the 32nd floor, concerned about possible blue on blue. This proves that they were not doing evacuations back at 10:26 p.m. like the New York Times tried to say. That's why I'm giving you the correct timeline. 10:49, doing evacuations cleared through 1:20. 10:49. West, the fire department again, West has GSWs in front of Hooters. Send 2 to 3 rescues. We have people and off-duty officers that are bringing patients in their personal vehicles to the front of Hooters, where the ambulances are in the MGM, where the triage center is. That's how it was done. 10:51, Reno and Trop for possible suspect. No suspect there. Called in because it was a call in that there was a possible shooter at the Tropicana. Again, people in panic. People in the Tropicana, as my witness Kevin and others have told me from Tropicana, they were hiding under the bar. They were in closets. They even tried to break into the cashier. Everywhere. It was a nightmare. (10:51) Suspect on helipad. According to FD audio, there were victims in the helicopter area at 11:21. This is not a suspect. This was, again, concert goers. 10:52, another possible suspect at Motel 6. It turned out no one was Motel 6. 10:53, possibly room 135 for shooter location. 10:54, 4700 out. Mandalay Bay, Alibaba, and Giles are the 2 shooting locations. Do we have a third? This is highlighted for a reason, because it is for the second show. 10:54. Hooters, total of 6 GSW victims here, with 1 patient brought up who is 419. Again, dead body in the vehicle. Proof, as I said earlier, the dead person, the dead body was not in Hooters or even out. They just brought the victim, 1 patient, brought up who is, i.e. 419, dead body in the vehicle. Need Metro to secure scene. Need 2 additional FD fire department units and a total of 6 ambulances. They added to the ambulances that was there. Note, a lot of action in front of Hooters around this time because it was a triage area and where everybody was going. Everybody. A lot of concert goers were going there. Others were at the airport. Others were at Tropicana. Others went past Tropicana and continued to go wherever they were staying. 10:55. Tactical info, floor 32nd. 10:56. Did we check for shots at the Luxor? Question mark. When we were down there being shot at, we wanted that checked. Again, came out, no shooters from the Luxor. I corrected myself about the 2 shooters on the roof that I believe was there in the beginning of this video, and I apologize for that. I will never make that mistake again, and I have triply checked everything I am reporting and will continue to do the same. 10:55, they're clearing the Delano Casino. 10:57, we have at least 6 additional patients inside of Hooters for a total of 12, and there's your 1 deceased. And the 1 deceased was brought up how? At 10:54 p.m. via a vehicle, okay, and it was dead, and it was brought there to be taken away. 10:58, hallway outside 135 is contained. Broadcastify scanner video 2, credit to scanner audio. 10:58, establishing casualty collection point at Trop and the Boulevard, containment area around Mandalay Bay. 10:59, North Fire Department, North requesting more Metro. We have 1 officer that's limping towards the RV to investigate by himself. That's the RV that they believe the suspect went into. 10:59, we are right outside the door in the stairwell right now, meanwhile back at Mandalay Bay. 11 p.m., 4 Seasons in the Boulevard needs transport for casualty. When they say Four Seasons in the Boulevard, they're talking about the entrance to Four Seasons, which is not the same entrance as Mandalay Bay. There is a separate entrance to Four Seasons, and there were injured people there as well. (11 p.m. Twitter, Las Vegas MPD. Please avoid heading south on the Strip. Las Vegas Boulevard is shut down at Tropicana, southbound Pad Russell Road at this time. People were wondering why the roads were shut down and no vehicles were moving, because they shut down the entire area. 11-1101. Male re-enters Delano against orders for Metro. 1101 again. Fire Department North reporting 15519's dead bodies in venue. That's the concert venue. 1102, possible suspect at Circus Circus and Industrial. Nobody was at Circus Circus. Turned out to be nothing like the rest of them. 1103, artists refused to exit their buses behind main stage. The part of the band and that were behind the stage and they refused to get out of their buses. 1103, switch channel request again. Note radio traffic has been bouncing from tactical to officers outside. Radio should have been split way before this point, as we described up above. Normal procedure is to split the radios so that they're not jumping on the same channel. In this chaos, they did not split the radios as normal. Like SWAT has its own channel, everything. 1103, UMC is at capacity. That's the hospital, unless it is life-threatening route to Valley Hospital. First shooters at other hotels start getting reported at 11:04 p.m. Possible shots fired in New York, New York, radio by officer. Turned out to be nothing. Possible 415A, shots fired at front desk, New York, New York. It's a 911 call. Nothing happened at New York, New York, and there was no one shot. 1106, vehicle black Audi with possible 445 at Luxor. 445 is a bomb. At Luxor Valet with wires sticking out. Bomb threat. Stay away from Luxor Valet. Also turned out to be BS. 1107. Zebra 20, SWAT, tactical, whispering in hallway of 32nd floor. Listen, you can listen to this on the tactics. I'll put the link. From 5750 to 1.030. All officers are stepping on SWAT. They should be on their own channel. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Chaos is going on, as I just said, and they should be on their own channel. 1108, active shooter from New York, New York, alleged. This is alleged, from New York, New York, going down escalator to Excalibur. It's bolded for a reason. I will get into the next piece of this in the next show. 1108, SWAT requests location of all patrol in Mandalay Bay so they can take over. 1110, first command post established at Mandalay Bay to control strike teams. That's at 1110. Paddock, anybody or any shooters are already dead and done. 1111, bold. 150 people sheltered in the kitchen area and 2 shots fired on the casino floor. Several subjects down at New York, New York, and Zumanity. Brian Hodge would be this group if this story is true. Okay? Not true. No shots fired on the casino floor. And there was not several subjects down at New York, New York. People hiding and sheltering there? Yes. In fear? Yes. Shot? No. 1112. 2 strike teams sent and arrive at New York, New York. Everything seems calm, reported at 1112, a minute later. All seems calm. 1112. Units sent to Luxor. Fire department again. 1112. North, we are currently loading patients in private vehicles. We have no more ambulances. That's why you saw so many ambulances. They didn't have enough. They were using trucks and other vehicles to get people to either triage centers and that also to hospitals and to be treated. We're getting pickups full of patients coming in. Response, copy that. 1113. When we have enough units for strike teams, we need them for force protection. 1113. Suspicion of diversion at New York, New York. We need someone to get into the cameras. Pay attention. Nothing happened at New York, New York. That call is proof that they believed it was a diversion. 1114, bomb squad to Luxor, Henderson, North Las Vegas, and FBI SWAT teams en route to our staging area. 1114, bolded, multiple calls of active shooters at multiple locations at 1114. May or not be diversions, make officers aware. Outside trop, no shots heard, could be a diversion. These were not diversions. I originally thought all this going on After the fact was diversions. It was not. It was panic. People just calling in and saying that they believed, just like at the Bellagio, that there was a shooting and glass broke and that all these things. It was tables being knocked over. There was no shooting at the Bellagio. This is a compilation of videos from the Tropicana and Las Vegas Boulevard intersect as we've been investigated by our team at 400. The officers tell everybody to get their hands up and get out, clearing the front of Tropicana. That is the video that we just showed you, that everybody believed, tried to convince people that it was the prince, when in fact it was not. 11:16, ambulances at Tropicana. Do they need force protection with all the 415As happening? That's deaths. 11:18, Zebra 20, which is SWAT. Breach set on room 135, floor 32. We need to pop this and see if we can get a response from this guy. We need to see if he is in here or he has moved somewhere else. 11:19, the breach happened, number 1 of room 135. 11:19, citizens reports 2 shots fired in the park of New York, New York. Reports of shots fired at Aria as well. 11:19, be advised, there are a bunch of people over at Elegant Maintenance that have been shot too at the airport. Now, what this is, fire department, they ran from the concert area and ran, as I showed you, over the fence at McCarran Airport. Several of them were injured and ended up over there injured, and the fire department and others had to get to them to get them out of there. Now, pay attention. 11:20. 112:20. So far, New York is clear. 11:20. And everything I'm reading to you, we have talked to witnesses. I've talked to witnesses or others on my team to verify. It is clear. There was nothing happened at New York, New York. 11:20. 2 teams sent into Excalibur. 11:20. 113:30. Jeep blows through the traffic cones on Trop and Las Vegas Boulevard. 11:20. Med being shot at Trop. Strike team sent. They're bolded for a reason. 11:21. Zebra 20 SWAT. We are clearing this room. We have 1 suspect down while clearing the room. They're talking about Mandalay Bay and Paddock. This is being reported at 11:20 that a man being shot at the Trop. Strike team sent. No man was shot at the Trop. Jason Buff and all the other and all the other witnesses that I spoke to say the same. Not one shooting, not one person shot, no gunshot fired at Tropicana at all. 11:21. Strike teams arrive at Aria in New York, New York. 11:21. Receiving multiple reports from the fire department of victims in the area of the helicopter area. Not sure what that is. Refers to Metro radio call about a shooter on the helipad. 10:51 a.p.m. Pure. 11:22. Pay attention. Negative shots fired at Tropicana. Tropicana video. If you listen at 032 and 2 gentlemen are in the rear saying, "Let's roll. We are breaking off." They were simply walking with the strike team that was clearing the Tropicana, and that's what that video was about, as just confirmed by Jason and many others. 11:23, confirmed location of 1 suspect. Down, multiple confirmations. That is the Trop. That is allegedly to be Stephen Paddock. 11:23, negative shots fired, Tropicana and Aria again. Negative shots fired. Negative. No shots fired at Tropicana and Aria. 11:24, Zebra 20, setting explosive breach into adjoining room. Based off where we are at in the sweep, it will go off in about 5 seconds. Breach number 2 of room 134. Again at 11:24, negative shots fired at Trop, Aria, and New York, New York. They're all cleared. No shots, no incidents, no nothing. Notice there's nothing in here about the Bellagio being called in, about a shooting at the Bellagio at all. Okay. Nada. Until 11:29. None in this new, 11:29. And I'm going to show you. 11:25. These Zebras saw 20. These 2 rooms secure. We have 1 suspect down. Multiple firearms. This is definitely, it's inaudible. What he's trying to say, possibly. What he's saying, it says the word possibly. Where firing came from into the crowd. 11:25. Located explosive device. Audi at Luxor. Description of vehicle. Nevada plate. Asked to stay back. There was no explosive device that came out to be. Just so you know. They was reported as an explosive device. They're saying they located the black Audi. Okay. Nothing else, nothing more. They just located what they believed originally to be a bomb in the car. Here we go. 11:26. Shots reported at Caesars and Bellagio. Okay. Reference B1, B3, more, and there's the videos. Now pay attention. 11:26. 5 transport units 2 minutes out from Hooters. Still everybody going to Hooters to pick up all these injured and or one deceased that's there. The others laid on the side of the road for several hours. Fire Department, 11:26. North reports of heavy patients coming into Tropicana and Hooters. Again, more to disprove Alex Jones' video I just showed you. Fake news. Fire Department is confirming it. 11:27. Zebra 20 SWAT. Don't let anyone else on the 32nd floor. We did have one officer that did fire, and I will go over that in the next show. Negative injuries on anybody else, which is curious. So I'll let that go to the next one. We have multiple firearms and one suspect. Request for Zebra 20 to switch to radio channels to TAC 1. They should have been on TAC 1 originally, and they were not. That's the SWAT. They should be on TAC 1, and they did not. 11:28. Officer reports man with a gun. 413 at Paris. Pay attention. 11:28. Fire Department chief just had phone call with coroner. They are going to hold short for now because this is going to be such a dynamic scene. They advise when investigators are ready for them to give them a buzz, please relay to law enforcement partners. This is the Fire Department letting know the coroner's office. The coroner's office is letting the Fire Department know we're holding off. We're not coming near the scene until it's over, until we can get it over with. Okay? Nothing else. The coroner's just waiting to do their job and come and pick up these poor victims. 11:29. Bellagio, negative shots fired, but on lockdown. And this is broadcast by Scanner Video 3 at Howard Johnson's. Credit to Jeremy Rubin, a.k.a. the Friendly Flipper. Bellagio, negative shots fired at 11:29. 11:29, Fire Department, multiple victims that have come over the fence to the airport. Hard to say how many people are on property at airport. Again, no shooters. Chief is at the church on Reno with 15 critical patients, needs resources. That's the church right by the concert area. 11:31, airport has unknown amount of people at gate 47 and 4 victims at gate 57. Again, it's just concert goers. It all makes sense. 11:33, Planet Hollywood shots fired, alleged 911 call. Assholes are calling around saying that there's shots everywhere. Is it a distraction or is it not? You'll know in my next show. 11:33, there was no shots fired at Planet Hollywood either. 11:33, Luxor, male seen in restroom with a gun by a civilian reported to security. Turned out to be BS. 11:34, person running across valet roof at Tropicana. 11:34, dispatch. Be advised we're getting reports atop of Mandalay Bay at the bar. We currently have another active shooter up there. Pay attention. 11:35, security says New York, there were no shots fired. I've confirmed that as well. 11:35, one suspect down and in custody. 11:35, the fire department confirmed if Mandalay Bar shooter is pinned down or just sheltering in right now. These are key to my next show. 11:35, headed into the airport, not sure what we're going to getting into. Looks like a lot going on. Please pass any info you have our way. That's the fire department. 11:36, Zebra 20 SWAT back on main channel. Player's card of Mary Lou Danley found next to suspect's wallet. Name ran on the air. 11:36, Force Pro clears Route 91 and high ground team in place at the Jason Aldean poster on main stage. See the people on the roof? On the roof of the concert? Sniper. High ground team means sniper in place at the Jason Aldean poster on the main stage. 11:37, Zebra SWAT. It looks like the name I gave you shares an address with the suspect. I can give you that address if you need to send units there. 1372 Babbling Brook Court, Mesquite. Note, this is very strange how SWAT would know they share an address but not dispatch. Code 4, McCarran. All clear at the airport. 11:38. Dispatch 4 injuries at Gate 47 Airport Fire Department. 11:39. Bellagio employee entrance, male person with rifle. 11:40. 3 armored cars on Sinatra towards Russell, followed by silver Dodge. Okay per SWAT. That is correct. They called on a local company here, where the company I used to test the guns that possibly could have been used in this. They had asked them to bring down some of their armored cars, what they mean by these armored cars, to help transport people. And it was okay per SWAT. 11:40, MGM, liaison en route to Mandalay Bay. 11:41, Twitter, Las Vegas MPD. Please do not live stream or share tactical positions of our officers on screen. This may put emergency responders in danger. They believe there was other shooters still out there. 11:41, Bellagio employee entrance cleared. There was no man with a rifle. 11:41, stuck in traffic trying to get to Harley Davidson. 11:42, fire reported at Mandalay Bay. Zebra SWAT 20 says the alarms went off on our floor during the explosive breach. Leaving this room with Sergeant, it's inaudible, and my team needs to go downstairs if we redeploy. 11:43, heading to T-Mobile. They have cameras that cover a lot of the area around Mandalay Bay, Luxor, and Excalibur. This footage has never been released. 11:43, 3 armored cars from Battlefield, as I just discussed. Okay, Battlefield, Las Vegas. They let you go in and shoot guns and look at all military equipment and things. Not affiliated with law enforcement. Arrive at Russell and Las Vegas Road. They are sent to South Central Command. See 1206. 11:44, there's no great conspiracy behind this. They needed their vehicles. They had the type of military vehicles they needed to transport. 11:44, citizen reported man with a rifle ran from his Ford pickup truck northbound plate 444 XLM. 11:45, do we need RTF? That's the Rescue Task Force, aka Force Pro, into Mandalay Bay. Do we have a war zone? 11:45. In other words, is there tons of people dead or injured there? 11:45, woman with gunshot wound to head, Tropicana, as witnessed by Kevin, and just as Jason just confirmed as well. She was not shot in front of Mandalay Bay. Tropicana. She ran there. 11:46, medical is trying to get to room 327 Mandalay Bay. We'll get to that next show. 11:46, Zebra 20 requested by Zebra 335 to call his cell. 11:47, they're bolded for a reason, as I said in the next show. 11:47, Caesars is refusing citizens access to building per Metro's request. Citizens need to leave on foot. All these casinos and hotels were locked down. 11:49, Mandalay Bay Casino floor cleared. No injured inside the hotel. We still have subjects upstairs. Subjects. Again, second show, I'm going to tell you and show you everything that went on inside Mandalay Bay. 11:49, man with a long rifle is going into nightclub and areas, clearing them out. Last seen at Chateau about 20 minutes ago. Paris is also now clear. No shooters there. Talked to employees there. Everyone. Nothing. None of them. Again, 11:50, the code goes out. PH is code 4 for Planet Hollywood is clear. Paris is code 4 for clear. 11:50. The fire department, go get people off the runway, please. Go get people off the runway. Excuse me. Please, also 100 people in Caesars hangar, still with some injuries. There was several people in Caesars hangar area that were injured as well. People went everywhere and ran. That's what I tried to tell you from the beginning. 20,000 plus people were here, and they just all started to go, and even all the way to Caesars. All the way to Caesars. And they were injured, and they made it to Caesars. That's what adrenaline will do. 11:50, go get people off the runway, please. Also 100 people in Caesars. Sorry, I'm rereading. 11:52, the Excalibur is clear. 11:54, fire department, airport gate 57 entrance have 4 victims. Hangar 8 has 2. This is true. 11:56, reports a lot of shots fired at Bellagio, but not seeing anyone. Officers say he has not heard any shots. People called in from the Bellagio claiming that there was shots fired there and there was nothing. It was just these tables being busted over and falling, the chips going everywhere and all the. There was such chaos in the Bellagio and these other places. They were knocking shit over. There was nobody in there shooting. Nada. Zero. I've been to Bellagio. There's no glass been replaced. There's no nothing. I've talked to people that work there, know them all. Nada. 11:56, pushback. Fox News from east side of Festival Lot. They don't want them filming everything back there. 11:57, they don't need to see people running all over the place and doing whatever else. Whole scene needs to be cleared. Correct. 11:57, negative on shots fired at Bellagio per the security. I've confirmed that, as I told you, with one of our board members' mother who works there in the security department as well, and other employees. 11:58, cleared third floor, moving to fourth. Mandalay Bay. Now they're going in the lower floors up to Mandalay Bay. Twitter, LV, Las Vegas MP, confirming that one suspect down. This is an active investigation. Again, please do not head down the strip at this time. 11:59, reported victims at church. RT, do you have eyes on the cameras for the strip? 12:01, we were advised not to move them by inaudible, but we're monitoring them. 12:01, church code 4, clear, and casualties. 12:02, strike team 12 and 21 will be en route as force protection. (12:02) Fire department dispatch reports active shooter at New York, and shots heard from shooters on truck. Okay, another false call in. Audi surveillance footage of it dropped off at valet. 4 males with description per video. AC0027 Nevada dropped at 22:13 hours. 12:06 armored Hummer used to bring orthopedic surgeon as requested eastbound on Trop. This is from Battlefield. They were delivering a orthopedic surgeon for surgery in a Humvee. 12, which is i.e. an armored vehicle. That's they called these armored vehicles. Confirmed already. 12:06 possible suspect hiding in a trash can behind Monte Carlo with possible weapon. 12:06 dispatch reports another active shooter at New York. The fire department claims at 12 o'clock at night. Dispatch reports MGM Hakkasan threat, 15 GSY patients. 12:08 female suspects in custody from trash can. Okay. Female suspects. 12:08 UMC out of beds. 12:09 chief is advising active shooters at New York, and Hakkasan MGM, i.e. unconfirmed. It's a restaurant in there. 12:10 are we code 4 so we can bring force protection in festival? 12:10 strike team 21 is force protection, one in by the main stage ready to clear. 12:10 if we stay outside Mandalay Bay, we are okay for force protection. 12:12 fire department dispatch shots allegedly fired at MGM. 12:14 reports of shooter on 7th floor of Mirage. 12:14 rescue at MGM reports code 4 at MGM, meaning all clear, no shots. Nutty people calling around saying there's shots everywhere. This is the madness. Not even, I'm going to tell you now, it wasn't even for a distraction. It was just people being, people. 12:15 second call for no more units to Mandalay Bay. We just had confrontation between 2 teams. In other words, they did not confirm this. 2 teams were arguing amongst each other within Mandalay Bay. 12:17, update on 7th floor Mirage. Woman could not feel her body but was not shot. She's just in shock. No one was shot there. Nobody of the above. She was from the concert. 12:17, as of right now, we have no hot zones. Force Pro can go ahead and start triage on those who need it. They had to wait till 12:17 for an all clear for Force Pro to go in certain areas. Now we get to 12:17, active shooter at Tropicana. 12:19, 1 GSW at Maverick Helicopter. Somebody ran there, injured, and they ended up at Maverick. 12:20, who's in charge of the Force Pro teams going into Mandalay Bay, CP or something? 12:21, 1,000 people still in MJ Theater. They were all pushed into the Michael Jackson Theater, okay, and hiding out in there. 1,000 people were put into the theater. 12:21. Be advised, we have 2 people on the roof of the Tropicana. Response, are they victims of more shooters? No response. 12:22, this was called in by a telephone call. We'll get to that. 12:21, 12:22, Force Pro to Mandalay Bay and Fairgrounds, they're clearing it. 12:23, people in buses at Fairgrounds sheltering. 12:25, call for assistance to evacuate, as I said, Michael Jackson Theater at the Mandalay Bay. 12:23, Force Pro checking VIP stage. Team in front of Hooters, have not heard any gunfire. 12:24, Ontario Police advising they have one of their officers locked down with 15 civilians with 2 weapons protecting at Luxor, code 4 cleared. Nothing happened there. He just protected, this Ontario police officer just protected the civilians. He had weapons for his own self, his own weapons. And they were protecting these civilians until the clear was done. They called the code clear, that's it. 12:25, many people helped many people out during this. North lost off-duty police officers, fire department, military, good citizens of Nevada. North Las Vegas SWAT at Harris, shots reported but nothing heard by officers. Another false report. 12:30 a.m. Third call for no more units into Mandalay Bay unless relieving SWAT. 12:31. Twitter, Las Vegas MPD. At this time, we do not believe there are any more shooters. More information to come shortly from Sheriff. Fire Department at the same time. South staging area. I have Metro here with me. They have Force Pro teams available. We do not know what other branch needs are, but they can funnel resources to those locations if necessary. Response, okay. Looks like we are ready to start organizing force teams, correct? Response, Metro has the availability and personnel to do that. Other branches are in close proximity to the incident that we are to do that. Response, you are currently treating 0 patients right now. Response, that's correct. Response, would you be able to start creating some Force Pro teams if needed? Response, I have 1 fire and multiple Metro units. Response, I'm okay. I'm assigning another couple of companies to you in case we need to establish. Force Pro is going around to all these locations and clearing the area with SWAT and putting them together. In case there was people injured, they brought the Force Pro with them. That's the same that you saw coming out of Tropicana, and they had the bodyboard with them, carrying it out. That is a Force Pro officer. Here we go. 12:34, shots fired. Fire department got the call at the Tropicana, repeated at 2:29:30. 12:38, we definitely have some SWAT activity going on at Tropicana. This or the team from the roof, pay attention, this or the team from the roof at 12:21 a.m. was probably the guys Kevin ran into in his video. My witness, Kevin, that is correct. These are the guys that Kevin ran into. They were not shooters. 12:39, no more units into Mandalay Bay. Third call, 12:41, people in the back of trucks northbound. 1 to 15 multiple, 419, i.e. dead bodies, and others injured. Setting up a triage at this site. Another one. 12:42, Harris code 4 means all clear. So all of these places where there was alleged shooters and things, all cleared. Nothing. 0. Nada. All confirmed. 12:42, Force Pro 2 entering the Trop. 12:44, Force Pro only code 4 to enter Mandalay Bay. All clear. 12:47. From SLS, we're going to tag team these properties and move north to south, clearing them. 12:48, Fire Department reports of shots fired at Planning Hollywood, and I see strobes going off in Mandalay Bay. Response, Mandalay Bay, not a fire. Strobes at Mandalay Bay are new. 12:49, do we have 50 injured at Trop? We haven't gotten any numbers. So far, there are no casualties, only minor injuries at this point. That's at 12, already almost 1 o'clock in the morning. 12:49, be advised, no Force Pro teams needed into Mandalay Bay. Possible suspect on 4th floor per SWAT. Pay attention to this. That's where those reflections were coming from in the glass and people believing there was a shooter on the 4th floor. Still at 12:49, they're still trying to figure this shit out. 12:49, what going on at Bellagio? We have a lot of cops headed that way. Response, no meds needed at this time. No one shot, blah, blah, blah. 12:50, Chief, I don't have anyone for force protection right now. All efforts are going forward at Metro assistance right now. 12:51, divert media, all suspects not accounted for. Pay attention. 12:52, North Branch anticipating possible need for force protection teams, extraction teams. How many FP do we need? Chief Blackburn is reporting shots fired at seizures now. Definitely anticipating a need for Force Pro teams, prepared to get units assigned, and definitely their Metro counterparts as soon as we can. 1254, Force Pro 8, 9, and 10 to MGM. 1256, Fire Department dispatch. Active shooter at McCarran. Units on the way to try to figure out exact location. Now, pay attention to this active shooter call at the airport. 1259, GS victim at Reno and Giles. Strike Team 22 en route to Force Pro. Again, almost 1 a.m. in the morning, and this is still going on. You can see the chaos between the fire department, the Las Vegas Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, Force Pro, madness. And you see tons of BS reports coming in. 1259, report of shooter on fourth floor, Mandalay Bay. Cleared. Question. Force Pro, 3 and 7, sweeping casino floor, Mandalay Bay. 1 a.m. Gun, 413, flashed at civilian at Motel 6, allegedly. 1 o'clock, SWAT still on 4th floor, Mandalay Bay. 101, 4th floor cleared. There was nobody on the 4th floor, Mandalay Bay. The glass doesn't get removed. As many people that went on for so long that there were shots from the 4th floor. Oh my God. 103, FBI SWAT shows up at Hooters. 103, this is how long it's taken them to get around to clear all these places. 103, one in custody at Motel 6. Had nothing to do with the shooting. 104, NB and SB, 1 to 15, reopened. 105, FBI SWAT asked to stage at Mandalay Bay Valet. 105, fire department waiting for info on victims at McCarran. We do have an incident there. What that is people are injured there. 105, Mandalay Bay fire strobes going off. 106, dispatch, we're getting reports on the 34th floor of Mandalay Bay. There has been an explosion. Now notice the time difference. The fire department's getting reports of explosions on the 32nd floor from the SWAT team, okay, for nothing else. But look at the time, 106, and SWAT breached at 11 and change. There has been an explosion on the 32nd, 30th floor on fire. It's not on fire. Fire department broadcast ends. There's nothing on fire. This is where they got totally screwed, meaning because that was SWAT. They ended their broadcast. 107, we need a strike team at Gate 4A at Route 91 Festival. We have suspects that are not yet able to get into custody. Right here. 102, looks like high-tech security has one detained at Bally saying they were involved, but no weapons were found on him. Man was taken to private room, never mentioned anywhere else. It's bolded for a reason we'll discuss. Second show is, like I said, Paddock, Campos, ballistics. In other words, all the players in this situation at Mandalay Bay and or anywhere else, if there were. A 111, Hilton Grand Vacation Club. No lockdown, no injuries, all cleared. 111. Circus on lockdown, no strike teams, no injury. Again, all false. Coco's on Trop, white male, age 20 to 30, in custody, had a pellet gun. That's what he was arrested for. There's nobody else. Shots fired at New York, 1:21 a.m., false again. 122, we are secure at T-Mobile in Monte Carlo. 124, New York, room 2319, woman with GSW to leg. She's wounded. Bullet shot. 125, New York, code 4, all clear. 134, they finally get to evacuating people from the back of the stage to the church area. 155, we have the briefing with Sheriff of Las Vegas MPD regarding the strip shooting, at least 20 dead, 100 injured. There's the link. Then we go into timeline by hotel and location, which you'll be able to view yourself. I just went through it all. I'm not going to repeat it again. There was nothing that happened at any of these other hotels. Nada. Zero that happened at any of these hotels. We will get into a couple of these incidences that are left having to do with Mandalay Bay and what really went on the 32nd floor, as well as within Mandalay Bay itself. And who is Paddock? His deep ties with the CIA and the FBI, and his girlfriend, and that of their possible ties to ISIS, and why they would be involved in ISIS, or were they undercover for the FBI? And the FBI misled them to believe that they were doing something good, and then, or at least Paddock, and then threw him to the wolves as a patsy. This shooting, when we finish, now that the timeline has been established and that there is no other, we need to focus on Paddock, the FBI, Mary Lou Danley, Jesus Campos, and what really transpired from the days up to the shooting with Paddock and Mary Lou Danley's ties through the Philippines. It's going to get very, very interesting, and people may not like the outcome of this. In other words, they may not want to believe it. They might want to believe what they want to believe, but the evidence is what the evidence is, and our government is not what it always seems. I will show you the nexus between 9/11 and this event as well, and the players involved in the final show. And we're going to go into grave detail again. Timeline is established. No shooters at any other hotels. No other incidences at any other hotels. No shooters in the concert area. None. There were officers at high points in the concert area almost very quickly, within several minutes, and then thereafter more. There's nothing going on undercover with the coroner's office, just inundated with lots of dead bodies. There are no fake deaths here. These are all real deaths. These are all real victims, real injured, and lots of post-traumatic stress going on, rightfully so. Those of you out there trying to, for monetary gain, turn yourself into internet investigators or reporters, remember that this is a real event. False flag or ISIS attack or not, it was still a real event. Real deaths, real injured. Have some respect for these people. And more importantly, have respect for the truth. We need more of the truth in this world. People count on these other people and follow these people, and they're feeding them lots of lies for monetary gain. It's very sad. Thank you to everyone who has trusted me and my team to come forward and talk to us, as well as to send us information, put their jobs on the line, their futures on the line. And also to those out there, stop harassing these people, trying to investigate this. You're embarrassing yourselves and you're harassing these people. Good night and God bless, and see you on show 2.
To